I want to welcome you back to Black Site Tonight. Governor Westmore vetoes reparations legislation. First, I would like for you to subscribe to this channel, hit that like button, hit that notification button, but also comment on this video. The Governor of Maryland, Westmore, vetoed reparations legislation which was passed by the Assembly 101 to 32, by the Senate 32 to 13. Yes, they can override his veto, but I doubt if they do it. Simply because they wanted him to be a pawn in the game to take reparations out of the conversation for 2026 and 2028. What we have to understand is that Westmore, Kamala Harris, and the rest of these tethers out here will never support FBA and ADOS for reparations. All they will do is get in the way of us successfully cutting the check for our people. We deserve reparations after 400 and some odd years in America. We were promised reparations by Abraham Lincoln, but was canceled by Andrew Johnson. We deserve over $1 trillion in reparations, even more. And when we have so-called Democrats like Westmore, Kamala Harris, and all these tethers who are now in Congress, who are now in your state legislators, who are now your mayors, are fighting against black people in America for getting what they rightfully deserve. Because if we get it here in America, you'll get it in Caribbean, you'll get it in Africa, you may even get something in Asia. But if they stop us, they feel as though they could be the next Barack Obama. That's what Westmore wants to be. There's no white state, no black state, no black color, no white color, whatever the hell he was talking about. There is a color. There is a religion. There is a race. When Jewish people talk about the Holocaust, they talk about reparations. They received it from Germany. They still get money from the United States. They get $3 billion a year plus military help and whatever else they may need in reparations from America. But we, the descendants of slaves, and some of us who are already here, deserve what our ancestors rightfully died for. We lived through slavery, segregation, redlining, having our homes burnt down, neighborhoods burnt down. We could go back to Slocum. What happened in Oklahoma? What happened in all these different other states? When we were advancing as a people, they would come in our neighborhoods and burn them down, and we received not $1 from the state or federal government. But now that we're standing up, seeing that we deserve what our ancestors did not get. You know what Westmore says? You know what Kamala says? You know what the rest of these tethers say? No, because they know they're not getting any. This is why we need to get rid of all these tethers who are representing us in our governmental structure. People like Westmore, Kamala Harris, that clown over in the minority leader over in the Democrat Party. We need to get rid of all of them because they'll never stand 10 toes down for us when it comes to reparations. Yeah, they'll talk about a study because that's their new lingo for the day. But will they actually fight for us and say, hey, if we get into power, like MAGA is in power in Washington, will we pass that bill through the Senate and have the president sign it and start sending out those checks? I don't think they'll do it because, as Malcolm said, there is no difference between a Republican and Democrat. One is the right wing, one is the left wing. It's still the same damn bird. And that bird is still flying. And Westmore wants to fly that damn bird. And the first thing he did amongst all the Democrats to stand up and say, I'm standing up against my own community. You know, this is like his sister soldier moment. And he said, see, you can trust me, white America. You see that cool smile on his face? You can trust me, white America. But that's not what we looking for. We looking for a leader who's going to represent us, who's going to represent black people and our issues. We not talking about people of color issues. We're talking about FBA and ADOS issues. Just like when you talk about Israel and you go to APEC, they don't ask about other people's issues. When you talk about China, they don't talk about other people's issues. When you talk to us, you talk about our issues. But now they got these new words, DEI, people of color. But we don't want to hear that. What we want to hear specifically, what you gonna do on day one if you was to get to the White House. Would you put that legislation in the first 100 days, make sure Congress, make sure the Senate pass it, and you sign that bill, and those checks are starting to be sent out by the end of the year? Can you do that? And you know these tellers won't do it because they believe if they closer to the white man, they closer to God. They rather die on the sword with that white man than your own people. And that was Barack Obama's biggest mistake. He wanted to be more of a Democrat, more of an American, than he wanted to be a black man or a black woman. This is a terrible look. I hope Maryland votes him out in 2026. And I hope we get rid of all these damn tethers because they are doing nothing but destroying our movement. But our movement is strong and is moving forward. I would love to hear your comments in your comments section. I want to thank you for listening to Black Site. Hope you subscribe to this channel. Smash that like button, but also share this video.